Hey everybody, welcome back to the Airsoftology Q&A show. The show is here to help answer all your questions and demystify the world of Airsoft. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and boy, we've got a big one and some follow-up from last week. If you didn't see the Q&A or the last show, I did some talking about a couple topics. I want to bring that up here in a second. But before you do that, if you guys aren't a sub here, if you don't have hit the subscribe button, I'd love to have you as part of the family. Mash it down there, notification bell. You know what to do. And at the end of this video, if you like it, thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. So let's talk about last week before we dive into your questions, which is how the show works. So we were talking about Classic Army, right? And how they disappeared. That was one of the big topics last show. And lo and behold, I checked social media like hours after I posted the video, and Classic Army is being imported into the US by Airsoft GI. And I was just like, wow, what a coincidence. How weird is that? So it's still alive. That is surprising and an update to last week. I don't want to give bad information. So if I get new information, I definitely want to tell you guys and gals about that because I feel like it's pretty darn important to have the proper and correct information on that. So I want to kind of give an update based on that. But boy, do we have a lot of stuff. Also, real quick, if you want to support this show, this channel, and get some really cool stuff in return, I do have a web store with some really neat morale patches up there, like the Velcro patches that stick on just about anything, the Velcro, the hood of your car, the liner of your car, inside your trunk. I see people put them everywhere. Anyway, if you want to check it out, I've got them. Shipping is worldwide. It's like a real small flat rate shipping. Right now, there's a handful of countries, actually a handful that I can't ship to, but if your country's not in the drop-down list, you won't be able to do it. So pretty much if you're in US, you're in UK, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be able to pick those up. So some of the EU countries are good, a couple of the EU countries are not. So just check to make sure. If you're in South or Central America, I don't think I can get there yet, but that's, I think, the biggest restriction. Anyway, I'd love for you guys to check it out. Link is down in the description box below or up in the corner. So again, we're gonna dive on into one more update, something big about this, and I'm gonna kind of make it my own question. But before we do that, let's kick this thing off right, and let's start the Titan Power mail call. The one thing I want to talk about this week, and something pretty big, it's not really a question, it's kind of some events that are happening in the airsoft world. And this one is, there's a lot of stuff going on. So the industry is definitely changing. We talked about it the last show. We talked about the things that were changing. GI Sportz, which is the company that owns Tippmann, which is airsoft paintball, the largest paintball company in the world. They're a Canadian company. They did file for bankruptcy. And going through all the research, I'm doing Googling, I'm doing searching. And by the way, I'll have the links for all these below. And then I got some bankruptcy listings that are public government records that are actually out there. So I'll be talking about all this. But in my search for GI Sportz, and there was a comment last week saying, oh, Airsoft GIs, it's a shame to see them. And I was like, no, and somebody corrected him, was like, no, it's GI Sportz. Well, when you type GI in, you do bankruptcy. Lo and behold, Airsoft GI is in bankruptcy. They've been since March. So it's GI Toys Incorporated is the parent company of Airsoft GI. And since March, that was the official filing, they've filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So for GI Toys Holdings Inc. and then GI Sportz. So GI Sportz is Tippmann, right? All the Tippmann stuff and all this empire and all that whole line of brands, they're like $28 or $29 million in debt. They cannot pay their $29 million loan or debtors they owe. That's a big deal. That's a huge one. And it was big enough to hit Forbes. Airsoft GI is the records are sealed. I haven't paid. You can pay money on some of these sites. I feel like they're really kind of sketchy. So I don't know all the details on who the people they owe money to and how much that money is, but it is unable to pay their debts. If you look at some of their creditors, they have a short list, and those include California taxes and also includes the IRS. So they're not paying, they can't obviously hit their IRS numbers. And that's like as much as I can see from the listing, as well as a few other financial institutions, which I'm assuming they have loans from. That's what they're having. So, and again, it only shows you like 4 or 5 before you have to pay and unlock this. I'm sure if somebody's in California, they can get the records from the California government. But that said, I'm assuming they're also having trouble paying a lot of their vendors at the same time. So yeah, this is big news. In my search to dig into that story, I discovered this other story. And yeah, it's been going for a while. So they're deep into this process, and yeah, they're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, the thing about Chapter 11 is you are restructuring to continue operations. That is the ultimate goal of a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. You're not saying, I'm going out of business, I'm done. I'm doing my best to manage my debts to pay these things off. And now also, before all of you say, hey, well, Jonathan, it's COVID, these companies like GI Sportz and the Tippmann parent company, the GI Sportz Tippmann parent company, or GI Toys Holding, GI Inc., which is the Airsoft GI. It's too many GIs, right? So you have the retailer and you have the manufacturer, two different companies here we're talking about. Well, it's COVID, right? Well, no, these filings happened, especially if you look at the AirsoftGI.com filing, happened pre-COVID, happened in March. And you don't just file paperwork that day. I mean, you're obviously getting to that bankruptcy, right? Bankruptcy doesn't happen overnight. It's a process to not be able to pay off your debts. So this had been happening prior, because like COVID really hit the US in February. And for all the companies I'm talking to in the States, the people I know, like if you're a web retailer or you're a distributor, you're doing very well right now. I mean, you're having trouble keeping up with demand. So it has nothing to do with, I think, sales. So just interesting to see that there's some big players out there that are in, I guess, a little difficulty at this point. So yeah, it's sad to see. I've done videos in the past for GI many years ago. I worked with them as a retail partner. I haven't talked to the owner at all or anything in years. Yeah, it's a pretty big one to see that not only Tippmann, the parent company of Tippmann, is filing or has filed for, they file in Canada, and I think it's like Chapter 15 or whatever. It looks like they're gonna restructure as well. So I don't think these companies are going away, or a lot of times like a company like that will sell their brand off, and then their brand and their IP, like their patents for the paintball markers and stuff like that, will go somewhere. It's not like these are gonna just disappear, but also to see Airsoft GI, a retailer, that bad off and hurting as well. So it's a little disappointing, but I look at other retailers in the States, and I'm sure like large ones, they seem to be doing very well. But this is a question I have for you now. I wanna know how it's going in your community, how your local Airsoft scene is going, and what you're doing to help combat this while we all fight COVID and can get through the other side of this. I mean, we've tend to fight so many battles in this industry of Airsoft, and I want to know what's going on, whether it's in the United States, whether it's I know we took a huge hit in Australia. I want to talk a lot deeper about that, of what's going on in Australia with the gel ball or gel blaster thing. I'll probably hit that on a future episode. I touched on it last week. Or your country in Europe or South America, Central America, wherever you are, in Asia. Let me know. I'm curious. I want to know what's going on in your backyard, because I think that's the most important part of our industry, are the local players, the local fields, and the local shops. That really is the foundation that builds everything else. Without that, this up top just goes away, right? Let me know. I hope this is isolated, and I hope it's all we hear of it and that's it. And I hope these companies do come out of the backside better off and they get things going, because I think competition in the marketplace is extremely important. We need it. Without competition, it's bad. Like there's no innovation, there's no price challenging, there's nothing like that. So I really do hope it changes. Fulcrum writes, hey Jonathan, recently took an Airsoft Claymore setup to my local site and had a blast with it, got several kills, and more importantly, it changed the dynamics of the game. The enemy team became very cautious knowing that there was landmine out in the AO. Would love to hear your opinions regarding claymores, remote pyro detonators, and any sort of Airsoft landmines. So this is always fun, and I know something I've been seeing lately is a lot of people playing the more fast style, the more aggressive style, the speed soft style. I don't want to give speed soft a bad name, but that's very prominent in Airsoft, especially indoors. And I feel like if your field allows it, claymores, things like that are actually legit, not like homemade booby traps, but like claymores and other things in Airsoft that are Airsoft, like actually manufactured, so they're safe and approved to use, are a fantastic way to change the dynamic of how you play the game and slow that play style down and be able to counter it. And I think that's anything. If you play any kind of video game, if you do anything, whether it's real-time strategy, whether it's, like MMORPGs, or it's shooter games, there's usually a counter to something that's offensive. So you have something that's very strong offensive, they're gonna have a weakness. And then some other defending team or attacking team could have the opposite, right? So you gotta make sure you deploy the right tools in your arsenal to combat the enemy when they're playing that way. And I think adding Those kind of things are fantastic. I actually don't do tripwires and stuff. That's not safe. But if it's a safe way, like one of those motion activated landmines that like pop up and blow off, like when somebody comes in the room, or like a motion activated claymore, a remote control one where you can kind of sit back and you know they're going to rush in, like, oh, I know they always follow this route. So I'm going to go that way and boop, hit the button and take out 2 or 3 of them as they work through a room or around a corner. I think that is an awesome thing to do. I've seen them very effectively used in outdoor play, skirmish play, and of course in mil sims. I've actually used airsoft claymores to be able to defend different entries into a space you're defending. So you can set up a claymore, something with motion detector on it or remote, and you can go, okay, well, I've got that. I can leave that side a little weak. I can maybe put a guy over there. And if we do get briefed, we get on the wall or they're salting or up on the door, when they come in, I can take a few out, buy some time, and we can restructure and remove our force inside to defend it better and actually be able to maybe take out some of the other team or set it up as a trap or something. I think it's great. Have you guys and gals on this topic used these type things? I know airsoft claymores aren't that popular anymore. They had like a moment years and years ago where I felt like they were doing good, but I haven't really seen too many of them that have been used effectively. I want to know, do you use those? I've seen a lot of people using the banger grenades and things like that, but not the claymores. Let me know if your experiences with them, if you have video of you using it effectively or whatever. I'd love to see those. Put them down in the comment section and we'll have the discussion down there. Some CBRN writes, is wearing heavy armor a good idea when it doesn't add any protection? All right, this is something I see sometimes in skirmish fields, but of course at mil sim ops. I think it's people wanting to look the part. And they're done that. I've totally done the same thing. To wear that armor, to put on all the gear, to do all those things and kind of look the part and feel it and all that. And let me tell you what, when you've done as many mil sim events as I have, your kit changes and evolves. And after you've done enough summer games where it's like in the 90s if you're Fahrenheit or 40 degrees if you're Celsius, and you're just dying and dripping and you're losing like pounds and kilos of body weight because just you're sweating it all out and you got this thing on. I've seen people wear weighted plates. Yes, I've done the same. There's some benefit to not do that. I think it's cool. I think there's a place for everything. I love it. But as I've played airsoft over the years, my kit gets lighter and smaller. I want to move faster, have more stamina. It's a more enjoyable experience for me. Now, the trade-off is when you wear like a little chest rig, you're going to get shot in all the places that are going to be exposed, like your belly and all, those areas and your arms and more. When you have less protection. I typically wear a helmet no matter what. I find that I'm a little accident prone. I'm also a little aggressive. Like I move fast so I can trip and fall. And then having a little bit of bump protection on my head helps a lot. Also, the helmet is also a mounting platform for my GoPro camera if I'm doing any kind of recording, which I really don't do too much anymore. I love playing. I just don't really do the recording part. But I find that having that helmet does help a lot. And if you get popped in the head with like a headshot, somebody gets to drop on you in the back or you're peeking corners, it's gonna hit that instead of actually your skull, which doesn't really feel that great when you get popped headshots. And I usually always wear full face protection or something, unless I'm wearing like a full mask, then I'll wear usually like a hat backwards or something with it. So for me, as I played more, I choose to wear lighter rigs and deal with the hits and stuff like that, deal with the exposed area hits, but it lets me have a more enjoyable experience carrying light gear and having stuff. Now at a big mil sim op, I want to carry more gear, so I find myself wearing plate carriers, whether I really want to or not, because I can carry my water on my back and a huge camelback. And now they have those ice plates where you fill them with water and you throw them in the freezer and they fit up in your plate pocket. So they're heavy, but they're also your water and they're cool because they're frozen and they melt over the course of you playing. Those are awesome. I love that. I think that is an awesome way to have that heavy armor, but have a good use for it. As you need the water, you drink it out. It's got a little hose that comes out of it. I think that's fantastic, and that it gives you everything you need. So there are some ways to counter the heavy armor and all that stuff. And sometimes I do need all that. I need all the cummerbund space and the front space and the back space and admin pouches for maps and lights and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, there's a place for it for sure. When I go play big mil sim ops, I'm running a full-on loadout play gear. I mean, there's just no way around it. I need all that gear the way I play and the role I typically play. But on short games, I go lighter. All right, that's it for questions, which means, as always, it's time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. This one comes from one of you out there, Joshua Booz, talking about the BB Warrior, and I was like, yeah, this is a channel I might have recommended. I don't remember if I did one in the past or not. I know I've looked at this channel. I know I've watched the channel, and I definitely want to recommend it. He has been on a bit of a hiatus, but he's back, and I kind of want to give him some love and attention and hopefully draw some eyeballs back on there because he puts out some really good content. I mean, he does some good stuff. You can watch the video I've got playing right now of his channel, some of the things he has going on. But his latest videos, most recent one was talking about his struggles balancing school and work and YouTube as all together. And I totally get it. I mean, when I started this channel, there were very, very, very many sleepless nights out there to do this, to start this thing up. And I put years and years of work into this to get it to the point where it could even remotely start to even think about being a career. And then more years after that to get to the point where it was, okay, some money's coming in, right? It's not easy. I mean, for any of you out there that have tried to start a YouTube channel or do social media as a business, it's a lot of work and it takes a very long time. So seeing that heartfelt video of his talking about the struggles and where he's been, I get it. Like, I've been having a tough time here lately, balancing all the work I do and everything behind the scenes and being here with COVID and all the stuff. And I'm back, which is great. But there was like a couple month chunk where I was like, whew, working like crazy. I'm having to do like a full rebuild, you know, like get things going and figure out what's going on with the patch store because of where I can ship and where I can't and things like that. Yeah, it's just a tough one. And I want to focus back on him. He puts out some great content. I want to say, hey, from me to you, BB Warrior, keep it up, man. Like, I know, like, put up whatever you can. Just keep a little bit of content out there. Like, just little drips. I know your fans, me included, you know, Joshua Booz, all of us out there will appreciate something. We know, we get it. You have life. It's tough. And school plus work, and then try to do a YouTube channel. I mean, I do this pretty much full time, right? So I know, like, I couldn't imagine stacking those things on top of it. It would just be unbelievable. So great channel, great content. If this is one you don't have in your sub list, you need to do it. You need to head over there, check out the channel. Like I said, I got the video playing. I've got a link in the corner over here if you want to check it out. You can click there or down in the description box below, and you can watch this video or any other video he has there. And if you like what you see, hit the sub button over there on his channel and let him know I sent you. Also, if you have your own channel or a channel that you love on YouTube that is Airsoft or kind of Airsoft related, definitely send it here. Put it in the comment section below. Be consistent, put it out there every single episode, and I'll do my best to get in there. There's only one a week I can do, and there's so many great ones you guys and gals recommend every single week. Also, if you want to support the channel, don't forget I have the web store, worldwide shipping to most countries right now. Just make sure to click the list to make sure your country's on it. If you're not if you can't check out, I can't ship you. So like, I've got it set up now where it's only going to be able to go to the countries that actually I can ship to. So don't worry about that. But if you're in, you know, most of Europe, like I said, North America, you're pretty good to go. Like you're gonna be fine, no problem. You can check out, you're good. So yeah, and also if you have a question, down there below, I will do my best to get on here and let me know what you guys think about a live stream. I'm thinking about maybe either here on YouTube or I might even try over on Twitch. I've been talking about Twitch. I've been playing some Destiny 2. The new content's dropping. I do have a clan, Airsoftology, to search for it. Just hit the request if you're not clanned up and I'll get you added into it. And then I'll get a Discord going because I want to have a talk. And I think the Discord's gonna be independent of everything else. We can just have like a bunch of different channels, including a D2 channel, and we can do that. But if you're interested in me doing some streaming over on Twitch as a platform, or you rather keep me here on YouTube to do some live streaming and this, I don't know, I'm curious. Are you guys and gals over on both platforms? Would you rather see it here? Would you rather see it there? I can do either one. So let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear and see how I can communicate and spend a little more one-on-one interactive time with you versus just me answering questions this way. So until next week, go out, play some Airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.